Welcome everyone to our weekly Research Friday webinar for the the Scholarship of Teaching and Learning, and in particular Technology Enhanced Learning, and for the ASCILITE Mobile Learning Special Interest Group. And our guest this week is David Sinfield, and been working a lot with David over the last few years, particularly integrating new technologies into the curriculum of graphics design. David's an expert in graphics design, and we're going to look at some of his PhD work and mobile video, and he's got some cool toys to be able to show us. He's into the curriculum of graphics design. David's an expert in graphics design, and we're going to look at some of his PhD work and mobile video. And he's got delay there going back with David. He's into the curriculum of graphics design. And then we also have Amanda, one of our guests here as well. Delay there going back with David. Into the curriculum of graphics design. And we also have Amanda. I think you better plug your headphones back in, Dave.
When I had my headphones on, so I took them off. Back on.
Amanda. I think you better plug your headphones back in, Dave.
It only started when you went
okay, we seem to be better now. Okay. Cool. Right. Okay. So anyway, Dave's going to talk to us about what he's been doing in the curriculum. He's going to talk a bit about his PhD work. He's got some tips on mobile videoing, and he's also going to talk about his progress along CMALT. So thank you, Dave. Going to throw it over to you, and hopefully we've fixed the audio problem, and let's go from here. So thank you, Dave.
There's about 10 seconds delay from when I heard you, when I saw your mouth stop moving, to actually hearing your voice. So there's obviously some sort of a loop going on. So now I'm hearing my own voice. Okay. I'm just gonna, at the moment, what I've done, I've just turned off the headphones. So, because what's happening is myself is repeating from the headphones. So I don't know what's going on there. So I won't be able to hear anybody's comments at the moment if they've got any. So I'll just talk through this and see how it turns out. What we're going to be talking today is about how we discovered mobile technologies and how they can be incorporated into undergraduate programs, and indeed over to postgraduate and PhD programs as well. And I've got a series of, let me see, I'm just going to share the screen for a second. Here we go. Okay, so you should be seeing that there. So this came about, how would graphic design, how can graphic design be enhanced and implemented by actually using mobile technology? And what we mean by that is obviously phones, drones, 3D/60 cameras, gimbals, and etc. So it's enhancing the designer or the student to get the most out of what they have. Most of every student I know of today has got a phone. So how can they actually use this phone to actually help them along the way? And part of this was also looking at augmented reality and virtual reality, so that how can the student display certain pieces of work beyond the printed form of, say, a poster. And I've got a couple of examples to show you here. So what we're actually looking at is a poster, and we've got a person who's putting their mobile device up against it to see if there's any content in there. So as you can see from this, the app, in this case it's the Layer app, has actually scanned the background image to see if any content is there. And in turn, what that's done, that's led onto a feed, a URL feed, to show the moving image. And in this case, it was the student's end of year exhibition promo video that was captured behind this. So when we're looking at printed items, we can actually get the designer to actually think beyond the realms of print. That was just a basic link, which you could use a QR code in that case to actually activate that. The benefit over something like Layer as a QR code is a QR code you have to incorporate their logo or their code within a design, and sometimes that can go against the design and it not necessarily look too good. That's why in this case we've looked at Layer, and we've seen this as a really good option, and it's simple to use as well. It comes with a 30-day free trial for one project, and then beyond that I think it's about $6 New Zealand to actually run it for another month. So relatively cheap. In this piece here, it's the same concept. However, this is making it more augmented. I'm just going to quickly show you this one. So what this is a screen grab from the phone, and you can see how Layer is actually scanning to see if there's any content, and it's picked up the content, and you can see. So now this enables the designer to actually make their poster really exciting and really push the boundaries and make it kind of stand out a lot more, rather than just doing a simple link to a URL. Okay, here's another example of that. Oh, and by the way, I've just put these QR codes in each page in case you want to look at the content on your own device later on. You can indeed do so. So again, here is a good example of augmented a poster, where you've got moving image and the different information expressed visually. So this really is challenging the realms of where graphic design is going. You know, no longer is it just static graphics, but it's more now a moving image. So the graphic design is going more into moving image and away from print. Print will never die. It's always going to be there, but it's just a question of how can we enhance other areas. So that's what we've been working on our undergrad program here at South Campus, and it's mainly getting the students to use equipment that they have, more and more variably the mobile phones. And a lot of the students, they do actually have Apple iPhones as well, which is great, because they work really well with other technology, which I'm about to show you as well. Now, as part of my PhD, I'm in the field a lot, so I need to travel light. So I've looked at what's the best ways that I can minimize my equipment, make me look less obvious as well to the general public. So you don't want to be turning up with great big tripods and cameras and sound booms. So how can I interview people, film people and film places without kind of intruding too much into their lives? This is a list of some of the hardware that I use in the field. So I've got a DJI Spark drone. I'm going to show you these in a second, just after I go through the list. The most important kit of everything here is the iPhone 7 Plus, and you notice I've also got here plus series lenses. I'm going to show you this as well. And these are lenses that you can buy and clip onto your phone. Xeon gimbals. These are like steady cams, so you get a really steady shot. 360 cameras, in this case the Kodak 360. There are other cameras on the market which are better than this now. Got this about 18 months ago, so it's a little bit old now, but it still does the job. GoPro Hero 5. Zoom digital microphones. These are very high quality, but yet quite small for recording interviews, etc. This is a really new piece of kit that's just been released, which I've managed to get my hands on. A Rode video mic which plugs directly into your phone, so you can actually go a lot smaller as well and film and get a good sound through a microphone which attaches to the iPhone, and indeed a mini iPad as well. Some of the apps I use in the field. This Xeon Gimbal app links to the actual Xeon Gimbal itself, and I'll show you that. Filmic Pro. This is about $25, I think this, but if you're looking at high-end filming, this is really, really recommended to get that. And of course, the Rode recording mic app itself. Launchpad works in conjunction with the mini iPad or any iPad. On this, this is for making sounds and music to accompany some of the moving image pieces that you make. And Lexar Media Manager, this is when you're in the film, especially if you've got a drone, you've been filming for 3 days, somehow you need to transfer what you've filmed on your drone, just in case you don't want to lose it. So these are adapters that enables you to, it actually plugs in, and this is the media, the app that goes with it. Just going to switch back to me. There we are. Great. You see me okay? Great. Thank you. Right. This is the DJI Spark drone. As you can see, if I put this next to, say, Post-it, you can see that it's really quite small. This shoots in full HD. It doesn't shoot in 4K. There are other drones on the market that shoots in 4K, but this is one of the smallest ones, and it's actually the most quietest drone on the market as well, which is really great because, again, you don't want to draw attention to yourself when you're filming. We all know what one of these is, iPhone 7 Plus. I use the 7 Plus because of the lenses are extremely good on these. Now, also with that, these are the third-party lenses that you can buy. So, you know, the glass on these is really, really good. So if you're looking at serious filming in the film with mobile phone, these are highly recommended. And I've got two. One's a wide-angled 18mm, and one is a zoom lens, which is 60mm. Yeah, and people are going to say, yeah, but you can zoom in on your phone. That's just zooming the pixels up. It's not optically zooming. These just literally clip on like that, so you can see it's really quick and really effective. And there we go. Now link that with the Filmic Pro app, and you're getting very close to high-end professional filming in a ridiculously small size. GoPro, these are really good as well because they're waterproof, and these shoot in 4K as well. This was the Zoom digital recorder I was talking about. I interview people in the field as well, and this is a incredibly sensitive, very, very high quality digital recording device. Yes, you can record through your phone and through mics that you attach onto these, but the quality isn't as good as one of these. So if you're doing, you know, post editing, etc., it's recommended that you use a digital recorder. And this is the 360-degree camera that I spoke of earlier, the codec, and it's in two parts, and they can join together. Another 360 camera that I have been looking at, and I'll probably get, is a lot smaller than this. again, it shoots in 4K, and it's called the Insta-1 360. And at the moment, I would say that's probably the best consumer 360 camera on the market today. I still think there's a long way to go with 360 filming. It quite hasn't reached the realms of high quality. It's very much for blogging purposes and stuff, for posting on the net. But if you're looking for 360 high quality filming, I think there's a ways to go at the moment. There are professional rigs out there, but they go into the thousands. But I do believe in the next year or so that you know, there's going to be an improvement on technology as far as consumer 360 is concerned. So I'm waiting for that. This probably now, this is the Xeon gimbal. This is relatively cheap. I think these go for about $250. And it's a fantastic gimbal. This is, I'll quickly show you the setup on this. So the phone very quickly just clips in there. Turn it on, and it comes alive. So what we have now is a complete steady gimbal for filming. I've got some examples I will be showing you on what I've actually filmed on this setup in a second. And one of the other things that's quite intriguing is that on the phones, on your iPhones today, especially if you're using like Filmic Pro app, opens up a realm of different applications, and it means that you can really adjust focusing, you can really adjust the ISO settings and indeed the shutter speed, and you can actually now shoot using that app on this phone at 120 frames per second in slow-mo, which is fantastic. And what I'm going to do now, so I'm just going to switch back to my screen. I'm going to show you an example of some of the work that I've been producing on my PhD. Great, thank you, Tom. Okay, right, so this is some drone footage. Just going to click on that. Okay, just got to. Okay, so all right, I've just got to switch that over to another screen. That one there. Okay, all right. Right, thank you, Tom. So what we're looking at here, this is using the drone down that's Party of Freezing Works, and what we're looking at, this is the old freezing works on the side of the river, Party River, and this is old corroded and rotten platform. So I'm actually flying over the river and filming this, and it was interesting. It was quite a windy day as well, but you can see how steady the filming is. Now, obviously, the day, it wasn't an apocalyptic day like today, like it is shown there. This is just some post stuff that I've added as part of the film poem, just reducing the color. But you can see panning out how steady the shot is and how professional that looks. So from a relatively cheap setup, you can see the kind of effects that you're going to get. It's just loading the second one up. Okay. All right, just going to pause that there for a sec. So there's some text that come into this, and then we're going to get to the actual footage itself. This footage was shot in Partia town, and it was shot using the gimbal and the iPhone that I showed you, and it was shot in 120 frames per second. And it was basically me walking across the road, from one side of the road to the other side of the road, and then walking along the side of the road, filming this. And I was just walking at a normal, steady walking pace. So let's see this. It's the sound of this. It's the sound of the video coming through, Tom.
No, no, just your voice.
It's the sound of this. It's the sound of the video coming through, Tom. Okay, so this is the part when I'm walking just at a normal, steady pace along the road. So you can see how the gimbal now takes out all that shakiness of walking, and shot in 120 frames per second. And I've done a bit of post work on this, on the color grade, and also the vignetting as well. So you can see from that what you can get out of your phone can be very exciting and very, very high quality as well. I'm just going to switch screens again. Cool. All right. So here are some QR codes if you want to take clips of those, so you can look at the those videos in your own time. Okay. I think this is going to be posted on YouTube as well, Tom, isn't it? So that people can view that later on. Okay. Let's open this one. Okay. Just switching screens again. Okay, this is a 360 tour of the AUT South Campus. Now these were shots taken on the Kodak 360. So as you can see, we can drag and pull this along at however we like. And you see these hot links here. So these can be actually links. So this is just a simple 360 tour of the campus using the 360 cameras, and the software put this together and was called Wonder VR. So we can, if you're familiar with South Campus, you know where we are with this. So if you're not familiar with South Campus, it's really good because this is actually posted online. So if anyone's new to the area and needs to figure out where things are, they can actually view this. And so if we're ever holding another seminar up here, we could post this online so that people know exactly what classroom to go to and where the toilets are and where the cafe is, those kind of things. So that can be quite useful. And also you can place embedded 360-degree video material as well. So this was a test I did with some of my students using the 360 camera. There's like a skate bowl, so they're actually skating around the camera itself, and what I'm doing, I'm just dragging this to see where they are. So you can actually try and follow them as well. So it can be quite fun. Yeah, so that's that. So minimize that. Oh, did you see that? You're just looking at me, wasn't you? Was it?
That's good.
Okay. So I hope that kind of gives you a kind of an understanding of where we are with mobile technology. And lastly, I'm just someone for me to share with you my CMALT portfolio. Again, this is a QR code, you know, that you can actually go to my my portfolio and look at it at a greater depth if you so choose. Shut that down. So just loading it up. Okay, great, thank you, Tom. So this takes quite a while to actually put together. I think about a year, I suppose it took me to put this together. But what we're doing, actually going over every little thing that you've done and itemizing it and categorizing it and putting it in the right place. Now, I've chosen to use my CMALT portfolio using WordPress here. So what I'm going to do is just go into one of these. So I mean, the categories are all the same, and you can see what I've been speaking about. Every section, they like to see a reflection on what you've done. And I also like to put examples of imagery that is pertaining to what we're actually talking about. So in this instance here, I was talking about some of the structures that we did in our learning program, how we actually introduce AR, VR, and mobile technology. So this is just some simple links to, in this case, it's a student exhibition that took place. And this is the clip that you saw earlier. So I've used that as evidence within the portfolio itself. The good thing about WordPress is that it enables you to have these drop-down menus. So you should be easily able to kind of link to where you want to go to. Reflection and conclusion section. And again, this is a link to a presentation that we done. So this gives the people who's viewing your portfolio the opportunity to very quickly see the evidence associated with what you've done, because it's all well and good, I suppose, explaining what you've done, but you need to kind of back up with evidence what is actually out there. Okay, so in this case we applied for ethics. As you can see here, these are the questionnaires that we pitched to the students. The petition, what the project was about, and it just explains that this is quite a lengthy process, unfortunately, that you've got to go through. And the actual form itself. But the thing is, if you're looking to use either students' work, or you're running a survey and you're going to be using this outside of the university, especially for research purposes, then you obviously need to get ethics approval to do that. So it's worthwhile doing, because it protects yourself and also protects the people that you're running the research paper for. Okay, so this is we created a research cluster here at South Campus. So I'm just explaining just a little bit about what our projects were about and the people behind them, and some of the published papers as well, just to give it that little bit more kind of credibility. That's just a link to one of the published papers. I'm going to put my speaker back on to see if I can hear you and to see if I can take any questions. But it may be a little bit difficult with the feedback that I'm getting, but I'll try.
Okay. Well, thank you, Dave. That was really interesting, and you know, it's great to see your wealth of experience in those areas. And I'm not quite sure why we're getting such a delay in today's session and audio feedback, but it's a little bit hard to ask questions when that's happening. But I wanted to say thank you very much, and we probably just need to sort of bring it to a close at this point, because we're well past our half an hour point. And that was really awesome stuff, really interesting stuff, Dave. And we've got quite a few viewers, and I'm sure people are going to view it later, and hopefully they'll be able to look at all your content. But I'm just throwing it quickly over to Amanda. Amanda, do you have any comments or questions for Dave? I'll just turn your mic on.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that was fascinating. I always think it's just so amazing to have these insights into people that we've met and sort of done things with, but you don't really quite know what they do. So it was amazing, yeah. I guess like we're also at South Campus, and we're trying to sort of add a bit more technology and tools to the way that we teach. One of the sort of responses that we're faced with quite regularly is that, you know, but our students won't have these types of phones. And I see one of the questions on those ethics thing, I think the first question in the survey was, you know, do you have a mobile phone? You know, like, I mean, maybe it's difficult for you to respond, because maybe people that are coming into graphic design, you know, are more technologically savvy. But, you know, what's your perception? Do you think generally people do have, you know, a smartphone to be able to start thinking about these tools in other parts of the faculty or the university?
So that's an interesting question. So I'll just turn David's mic back on.
Yep.
Cool, you all go.
Yeah, I think I got that, Amanda, although you're still talking in my ear and Tom's now talking again. All right. I think the question was, now I'm hearing myself. I've turned my headphones off.
Yeah, I think if you close your screen sharing, Dave.
The students come to class with mobile phones, and what's the perception of the amount of people using mobile phones? What I found in our area, because the demographics of our students are 19 through to 21, some slightly more mature, that possibly up to the age of 25, so relatively young. So yes, they're all going to have phones, because that's what they've been brought up with, and that's what they have. So for us, it's been a no-brainer. They've all got them, so why don't we utilize what they have? If it was a different program, if the demographics was older, and you've got more kind of 40 to 50-year-old kind of people coming on board, that may be more problematic. And they're still going to have a phone, but to what degree is it going to be a smartphone? I guess the question is. Having said that, you know, the costs of the phones are coming down. The quality of the phones is going up. The amount of apps out there has immensely increased, and no longer are these actual phones, but they're mini computers as well. You know, and virtually everyone's lives is actually housed within one of these devices. So for us, using mobile phones is great, and trying to get small amounts of equipment like the lenses and the gimbals to make, in our case, filming a lot more professional is really good, really interesting for us. I hope that answers the question. I can't hear you because I turned my earphones off, because if I turn it back on, I'm just going to hear myself about 10 seconds later.
No, that's good.
Cool. Hey, well, I think we'll end it there today, Dave, and thank you very much for your input. That's really exciting and great to be working with you and Amanda on lots of projects. So thank you both, and thank you for your time. And we'll end the broadcast now, and hopefully people will watch it later. Thank you. See ya.